It has been proven that it's our thoughts that determine our results. But let's consider this from a theoretical standpoint. From a theoretical standpoint, if your thoughts determine your future or your destiny, we know that you think 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in a day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before. Then we understand that your life isn't going to change very much as long as you're thinking the same way, and those same thoughts lead to the same choices. The same choices lead to the same behaviors. The same behaviors create the exact same experiences, and we anticipate the same feelings or emotions from those experiences, and those emotions are the payoff that drive our very same thoughts. Our biology, our neurocircuitry, neurochemistry, our hormones, and even our gene expression will be equal to how we think, how we act, and how we feel. And how we think, how we act, and how we feel is called our personality, and our personality creates our personal reality. That's it. So the present personality, the you who's listening to this video right now, has created the present personal reality called your life. So if you can latch on to this idea, then you understand that if you want to create a new life, a new personal reality, you have to change your personality, which means you need to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and changing it. You have to begin to become conscious of your unconscious actions or habits or behaviors and modify them. And then we have to begin to look at the emotions that we live by every single day, those emotions that are keeping us connected to the past. We have to consciously decide that these emotions don't belong in our future. Most people are trying to create a new personal reality from the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. The neuroscience tells us that nerve cells that fire together wire together. So you keep thinking the same way, making the same choices, demonstrating the same habits, creating the same experiences that stamp the same networks of neurons into the same patterns, all for the familiar feeling called you. And you do that for 10 years on end. You're going to begin to hardwire certain patterns in your brain that becomes your identity. And by the time it kind of becomes fixed. Psychology used to say that you can't change that, but we now know that you can. So then it's changing the habit that 95% of the time is running a series of programs. That requires that you're sitting and doing the work. We have to become disentangled from those programs. But the moment you decide to do something differently or make a new choice, what most people don't want to face is that discomfort, that uncertainty, that lack of predictability, and that unknown is what people are afraid of, because they'd rather live in guilt, because at least they can predict who they're going to be then. You say to someone, "How long have you been this way?" And they say, "I've been like this for 25 years. And you say, "Why 25 years?" And they say, "Well, because 25 years ago I had this one event." Here is what you need to understand. The stronger the emotion you feel from reaction from that event, the more altered you feel inside of you, the more the brain narrows its focus and freezes the image and takes a snapshot. And that's called the memory. So then forget the memory, just overcome the emotion, because it's the emotion that keeps you anchored to the past. That sounds really good theoretically, but when you step out into that unknown, into that void, the body really is in a habit. When you're thinking about that past event and it's producing an emotion, well, you need an image and a feeling to start the conditioning process. So the body's either conditioned into the familiar past or it's hardwired in the predictable future, because it wakes up every single day and runs through the same series of routine actions So the present moment then becomes the unknown when people start feeling that discomfort. Due to the discomfort, most people will then come up with excuses as to why they can't do the thing they know they are to do. I'm too busy, the sun's too hot, and the cat ate the report. They excuse themselves and return right back into that familiar feeling, because the body's actually telling the brain how to react. The body says to the brain, danger, discomfort, unfamiliar, abort. So we see that whenever the body steps out into the unknown, it says, ooh, I'd rather feel guilty, I'd rather feel unhappy than be in this discomfort. So then at least then when they return back to that familiar feeling, then they feel safe. So they step out in the unknown, and the body starts influencing the mind, saying, you can start tomorrow, you're too busy, it's your mother's fault, it's your culture's fault, I don't have enough money, this isn't going to work. Those are the programs in there that are standing in the way between you and your future. Acknowledge then that nerve cells that no longer fire together, no longer wire together, so the act of observing those states of mind and body means you're no longer the program, you're the consciousness observing that program. As you become familiar with those thoughts, you become conscious of how you speak, you become aware of how you act, you notice how you're feeling. The more conscious you become of those unconscious programs, the less unconscious you'll go through your waking day. Our job is to sustain that modified state of mind and body the entire day. And if you can, get ready, because something different or unusual is going to begin to happen in your life, and it will come as a coincidence or a synchronicity. And that's breadcrumbs from the divine saying, you're on the right path, just keep doing it. There'll be another one, just keep staying in that energy. And so teaching people to understand that there's a formula that we now know, that if you apply that formula, you'll begin to see those changes. And now, as people are doing it more and more effectively, the results are going to improve as well. To change your life, you must first change your thoughts.